everyone, this is Thecos, and today's video I've been really looking forward to making because 2 months ago I asked you on Twitter, on Instagram, on Discord, Patreon and YouTube of course. I asked you for your questions you have regarding my channel, regarding me, just pretty much anything you could think of. You have actually sent me quite a lot of questions and commented quite a lot, so I took all of these questions and I will now answer them. Because I focus on a physical medium, meaning board games, also print and play games and everything, that's why I don't really want to put digital images here of your questions, which is why I've actually compiled all of your questions and put them on these little sheets here. And I will go through all the questions you have asked me and answer them as good as I can. This will just be me just rambling and talking about all of your questions. So I hope you will find this interesting. So if you have asked me a question, it should be in here because I hope I didn't miss any questions. If I did, let me know and I will collect them for a later AMA. You can always ask me questions, of course, but you can also ask me something down in the comments here again. I will probably wait a few months, but at some point I will do an AMA again, ask you for your questions. Maybe you have some new ones, right? Or you have the same ones again. I mean, that's fine too. I will answer them again then. Okay, so let's start with a question that I have received via mail right here, which is how do you film the top-down view of your board? Is it just a phone camera holder or do I need a more elaborate setup? Just as a little bit of backstory, this was someone, I will not mention their name of course, they might want to stay unknown, but they have asked me, they have actually written me a mail and asked me a few questions because they are thinking about starting their own YouTube channel as well. And the first question was this one here. So actually filming the top-down view of my board is actually the playing area is actually pretty simple. You don't really need an elaborate setup to start. I'm just using a holder for the camera, that is all. And then you can just put your webcam or phone in there. I actually have two cameras. I'm using this one. This is the main camera I use all the time, which you can probably see because the image quality is always the same. That is my webcam actually. I'm actually using a webcam still at the moment. I will replace it with a really good camera at some point, but at the moment this is a good video quality in my opinion, so that is working fine. Also with the editing I'm doing, this becomes even better. And also I do have my cell phone for the secondary camera that you might know from some videos. You just need to be mindful of not attaching the holder, the holder for the camera, to the table you're playing it on. Because I did that, I have done that in my first videos, and it shows because the camera shakes every time I do something on the table, right? If I'm just doing something small, the table shakes, and then the camera holder translates that all, and even worse, right? So don't do that. I actually have something right across the table. I have something to attach my camera holder to, and that's it. That's all. I just put the camera holder, I bend it in such a way that it's just right above here, and then I put the camera in there, and this is how I get the top-down view. And you see, I have a lot of room here. Nothing happens. So that is fine because the camera is up here and the holder is back there. So yeah, that's how I do it. Pretty simple actually. Second question was, I have a good starting collection of games, 20 to 30 games, but board games are expensive. How do you fund this hobby? Currently, all my games were bought and paid fully by me. So, first of all, I do receive review copies, but not as many as my subscribers might think, right? I don't receive too many yet because my channel is still quite small, so to speak, right? In the larger scope. Yes, I do fund the hobby by myself, and it's really pricey because I get a lot of games that I want to show you and everything, and that is very pricey, right? I invest a lot of money into that, but I mean, it's also my hobby. It's already a passion I have, so that is fine. But you don't need as many games as I have, especially not when you're just starting out. 20 to 30 games, this subscriber said, is more than enough, right? It always depends on the type of content you want to make, of course, but 20 to 30 games is enough for sure. If you can make one video about each of these games, that's 20 to 30 videos. You don't do one video a day usually when you start out, right? You do 1, 2, maybe 3 videos a week. You have 10, 15, maybe even 30 weeks. You can do videos on that, and some games you can do more videos, right? If you something like Aeon's End, you could do a playthrough of all the bosses and stuff like that. You could do reviews, you could do other videos. So there are a lot of things you can do, and also you can also just do print and play stuff. That's what I did at the very beginning of my channel. I already owned a lot of games, but still I did a lot of print and play things because, well, that's just way less expensive than anything else. That was the only thing I received via mail, which was also the starting point of my idea of doing an AMA, right? Okay, now we go over to Instagram. Now we have like all the things, all the questions from Instagram. So Silent Isle Games, I've actually reviewed their one of their games a little while ago, which was named Thrashed, an 18-card game. They said, great idea. Do you have anybody helping you behind the scenes? And what is the hardest part of hosting your own channel? Thanks for the great content. First of all, you're very welcome. I love doing this. Seriously, I'm really being like dead serious when I tell you I love doing this. Do you have anybody helping you behind the scenes? Well, no. This is completely a one-man show. Well, and also what the parts of hosting your own channel, I will like talk about all of that like in one swoop. So I do everything by myself. That includes coming up with an idea for the videos, of scripting videos if I have to. There are some videos that I script, especially my reviews, right? But everything else, like this one and all my playthroughs, they are not scripted at all, right? I just play them. But I do record videos several times if I have to, if something goes wrong. But in general, I need to come up with the idea. I need to script them, maybe. I need to prepare videos, which means learning the game, learning the rules, practicing maybe a little bit for print and play games, finding them, printing them out, cutting them, gluing them, right? There's like a lot of preparation for these videos actually. Also coming up with how do I film these videos. There are videos that are harder to film. For example, Explore It was a challenge. And I think I did a pretty well job. You will see that quite soon when it actually releases. But this was a tough challenge to film that. And I think it came out well. I'm still already thinking about ways I could have done it a little bit better for the next time I do it, but still. And then I have to record the video. I have to edit it. That means sound, especially video, right? Editing a video takes as long, at least as long, maybe more often like twice as long approximately, as the video took to record. So if I have like a 1 hour video, I have to watch the entire video when editing, so it takes an hour at least, plus whatever, how much I have to edit, right? Like in unboxings, I don't edit as much, so unboxings are like the easiest to edit. If I have like a half an hour unboxing, it usually takes me like 40 to 45 minutes to edit that. If I have like a half an hour playthrough, it can take up to an hour. The explored playthrough currently, like I already added like 2-3 hours. I edited already and I'm not even halfway done. And then I still have to upload it, put all the metadata in there, like the tags and the timestamps and everything. Also doing the thumbnail, taking the pictures of the thumbnail, editing those pictures, then making them look nicer, and then also like doing the thumbnail itself. So there is so much to the channel that you won't even believe, right? There's just so much. And I don't have anybody helping me at the moment, so I still don't know how I'm managing it to have like a full day job, like a 40-hour job, still to have like my wife and friends and all of these things, and still publish 3 videos a week. I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm having fun. But it is pretty stressful. Like, not really stressful, but it's a lot of work. Let's put it this way. The hardest part of hosting my own channel is probably finding a way to make the channel more appealing, to like grow my audience, but still stay true to myself and also do like content that the viewers enjoy. And that was the hardest part of hosting my own channel. And by now it's not as hard anymore because I've decided not to chase any trends or do anything that a lot of people might want to see, because I know that those people who subscribe to me, those who comment on my videos, those who watch my live videos, who are live there talking with me, who are on my Discord server, these are the viewers that enjoy what I do. And what I do on the channel is what I also enjoy doing. If I started doing things that I wouldn't like as much, just to chase trends and just to get more subscribers and more views, then you would see that in the videos. I wouldn't have as much fun, right? So the hardest part of my hosting my own channel was like, in which direction do I want to go? This is still quite a tough part because I still don't know, will my channel stay this way? There are still like a lot of series I want to do, a lot more content that I want to do, but I don't really have like the time and the assets and the money to actually do that. And I think that's currently the hardest part. The hardest part is actually finding having the finances and also finding the time to do everything that I want to do with the channel, right? Time, I think, is the most important thing that I would need. But I don't have it because I don't own, like I don't earn a whole lot with the channel, like pretty much like almost nothing. It just funds like maybe 1 or 2 games a month that I can buy for the channel. That's it. So I don't own enough money to actually say that I would maybe work a little bit less, right? So say that I would like maybe work only 4 days a week to have more time for YouTube, for example. But I can't do that at the moment because I don't have the funds to do so. So that's probably the hardest part, actually finding the time to do all of that. And I'm really happy that I'm still able to publish 3 videos a week. I don't know if I will be able to do that like forever, right? I might have to reduce it to 2 videos a week or something, but at the moment I'm still doing fine. Okay. Then still Instagram. We have Dana Hayward. Somebody like she is like commenting a lot on my videos, watching my videos a lot. So that is great that she also participated here. And she said, neat idea. What made you decide to record content on YouTube? What is your favorite game mechanism? Can Ailas play more games with you? Lol. Okay. Very good. So the first question is pretty easy actually. I have wanted to record content on YouTube for probably at least 13 to 14 years, maybe even longer. I think like 15 years approximately. I think that makes sense. Back then, I also played a lot of board games, but not as many as today. I played more video games than today. So I probably would have done a video game channel. So I'm really happy that I didn't do it back then because that wouldn't be fun forever, right? Like board games I can play forever pretty much probably. Video games I don't think so. So it was fine that I did it now. I was actually looking for something like more to do during my free time. I do have a lot of hobbies, but I was looking for some like bigger project that I could really sink my teeth into. And I thought like, you know what? Now is maybe the time to actually do my YouTube channel. And what a lot of people do wrong, in my opinion, is to like start planning and thinking about the YouTube channel, like do that for a month and then never start the YouTube channel because they always say, oh, I haven't planned it enough. Oh, I don't have everything I need. You know what? If you ever want to start a YouTube channel, that's just one tip I can give you. Do it. Just do it. When I started my YouTube channel, I didn't plan anything. All that I came up with is what audience do I have? Which audience do I want to reach? I knew it was an international audience I wanted to reach. This is why I said I will do it in English and not in German. Second thing, what topic? Well, board games. And a little bit of RPG. That's it. That's all you need to know. And of course, your name, like what the channel should be called. It was clear that it should be Thecos, right? That was very clear from the start. So all I did was I ordered like this. I ordered the camera holder that I'm still using today. I ordered that like more than 2 years ago. And it arrived, I think, the next day. And then I just attached that to something that was standing on the table, which was a very bad idea, as I said at the beginning of this video. And just put a camera, like my webcam there, and just used my headset, because I didn't even use the microphone I'm using now. I owned it back then, but I didn't use it. And just pulled something out of my shelf, which was the Deadlands campaign, like the Deadlands setting for Savage Worlds. Just put it on the table, press record, and just recorded something. Then I didn't edit it. I did not use a thumbnail. I just uploaded it and said, okay, well, that's it. Let's see what happens, right? That's how I started my YouTube channel. I did not plan anything, and that was the right decision to do it, because otherwise I would have planned too much and probably would have never started. So, yeah, just a little bit of background info there. My favorite game mechanism. I have several ones that I really enjoy. I think one of my most favorite ones are tableau builders, deck builders, and engine builders, like everything where you build something up. I need a sense of progression in my games. If I play the same turns after 1 hour that I played at the beginning of the game, it might still be a fun game, and I might still have fun, but I'm having a lot more fun if I see like there's progression there. My actions become stronger, for example, or I can do more actions, or I have no idea, like things like that, right? So Explorer is a very good example, because I do the same things at the beginning and at the end, but I'm being much stronger, right? Same with like campaign-based games like Sleeping Gods. That something evolves. I have a story. I have quests. I have new items, right? But also things like Earth or like Wingspan, because I'm actually building up a tableau, and it becomes more interesting because that tableau gives me more things to do later on, right? So this is like what I really like to do. So deck building, bag building, engine, tableau building, all these things. But I also like worker placement a lot. And also push your luck mechanism is also a mechanism I really, really enjoy a lot. So I think these are my most favorite. Of course, in everything campaign or story based, right? So these are like, I think, my most favorite game mechanisms. But there are also others that I enjoy a lot, right? Like hand management and things like that. Can Ailas play more games with you? Lol. Well, actually, yes. There is still one video I need to edit that we recorded a few months ago, so I still need to edit that. So that will come out, and also I will, Ailas will come to me, visit me at the end of this month, at the end of July, to record like 2, 3, or 4 more videos that I will record and that I will release over the next few months then. So yeah, we definitely have more videos in the works for you. Okay, so do these all fit here? Well, kind of, but I mean, you don't really need to see all of that. Then we go to Twitter. Dan Young, I have played Gem Getter on my channel. That's one of his games. He's asking 2 things. First, what is the oldest game you own that still holds up really well? Which is an excellent question. There are actually quite a lot of older games that still hold up really well, but he says like game you own. So just a short while ago, I sold Carcassonne and also Alhambra, which are 2 good games that hold up quite well. Carcassonne does, Alhambra a little bit less, but they still hold up quite well, but I don't own those anymore. I think the oldest game that I own that holds up quite well is probably Catan. That is from 95. I think that one holds up quite well, but if I would have take something that I still play a lot, I don't play Catan too much anymore, I still own it, but I still play a lot, I have to say probably it's Activity from 2002. I like to play that a lot, and also Ticket to Ride from 2004. I think these are like the oldest games that hold up really well. But also like we have like something in the 2010s that hold up well. Actually, that is not 100% true, because Modern Art has held up really well, and that's from 92. I think that might actually be one of the oldest games in my collection that have held up really well as For Sale, which is from 97, I think. This is not the 97 version, and also not the Modern Art version like the 92 version, but it doesn't matter. The game is still the same, right? And these are probably some of the oldest games as well that have held up really well. So I have no idea how I could miss that in like the first recording of my AMA. I do own games that are older. Like I own Wizard, which is from the 80s. I own Monopoly, which is from the 30s, and Clue from the 40s, Risk from the 50s, right? And also Rat-a-Tat-Cat from the 90s, Take 5 or Sex Nimmt from the 90s. So I do own a lot of older games, but yeah, maybe I'm also Sex Nimmt or Take 5 in English from 98. That's also something that holds up quite well. I can still play it well, so that also. But I do think that a lot of games in the 80s and 90s that might still be quite well received today, or can still be played quite well, I just don't own anymore, and that's not because I don't like them, but that's just because my collection has grown so large and I can't keep everything that is okay. I need to let go of a lot of games, and things like Carcassonne and Alhambra, for example, I played those a lot during my life and just had to sell them at some point because I just don't play them anymore. Second question is coffee the greatest flavor of tea? Very funny. I always enjoy these kind of jokey questions, but of course coffee is not the greatest flavor of tea, because not only is it not tea, but also tea is much better than coffee. No, I'm seriously. I mean, the joke here is that most people know that I like to drink a lot of tea. Right now it's too hot to drink tea, which is why I have my glass of water here. But if I have to say like which tea I enjoy the most, it is green tea, and usually jasmine tea. There's like one here right in this town, a tea shop where I always get like my jasmine tea, which I like a lot. That's the most favorite one, but black tea is also fine. Okay, then we are going to Discord. Actually, these are all the Discord questions. Thaconor, of course, is asking, why is Wingspan the worst game ever? Yeah, of course, this is a joke question, and I will not reply to that. Okay, then we have still Discord. Ultra Murdy, what is the point of a first player token? This is actually a much better question than you might think at first. Because you would say like, well, to mark who's the first player. Yeah, sure. But a lot of games don't need that. I think a first player token has kind of evolved into something that just exists in games, and these are just made like nicer and nicer, right? So you have something nice that you have on the table that you can kind of hand around. It's cool because you have something like tangible, something that you can touch and that you can like kind of pass around. But the point of a first player token should be to really signify who the first player is in games where it is necessary. For example, if you need to know who started in order to be able to finish the last round, for example, when somebody ends the game. or to know who's like the active player at the moment. But that is different. We have a first player token and an active player token. Sometimes these are used for the same thing, but sometimes they do change. So the first player token should just signify who began the game, so you know how to end it. That is pretty much the only thing. I do own games and I know games where there are first player tokens that are not necessary at all, because it doesn't matter who started the game, right? So yeah, sometimes you can actually ask what is the point of the first player token in this specific game. But in general, of course, it should be to be able to know, okay, how do we end the game, right? So good question. Like that one. So this one is a little bit smaller because there were like a lot of questions. So you might not be able to see it, but let me just read that out. We have a lot of questions here. I think we have 4 questions. Okay. That is by S. Nowak, also from the Discord server. Where do prototype games go when you're done playing them? Do you get to keep them or do you have to send them back? Yes and no. So what I always do, because I think it's just a matter of decency to do so. This is why I always like when I'm done with the game, including like when I like actually publish the video. Like, because it's possible that I have finished the video, I've uploaded, and then I realize, oh, I still need to do something. I need to film something small and like add it to the video and then re-upload it. But that's why I wait until the video is published, everything is done. And then I usually ask the publisher or designer, what do you want to do with the prototype? Do you want to keep it? Should I send it back to you? Do you want me to send it on to the next reviewer? Can I keep it? That's what we usually ask them, because everybody does differently. And there are some review copies or preview copies or prototypes that I had to send back, and some of them also had to send on to the next reviewer. It makes sense because prototype copies, like creating those, are very expensive, and also sending them around is very expensive. So it makes sense to like send them from reviewer to reviewer, right? Like this wandering copy kind of thing. But also I could keep a lot of them, and there are some games that I still play today, some prototypes. There are also some that I just keep like for collection's sake kind of thing, right? Like as a little reminder, as a little souvenir, so to speak, to remember like, oh yeah, I remember doing the review for that game. So yeah, but I do have a few prototypes here that I'm not quite sure what to do with yet. I'm actually thinking about things that I could do there. I have a few ideas, so yeah, very good question. The next question is, where do you find room for all your games? Oh man, I don't really have a lot of room, to be honest. So we are living in an apartment, and I do have my gaming shelf in the living room, like where we live and eat and everything. There I have like a shelf, and there I have like the family games, and also like the games with a little less complexity, the very beautiful games that I like to showcase there. Like the games I rather pull out with other people. But I have started also using my office, where I do my office, my home office, and also do the recordings, like this recording you see right here. I have actually rearranged the shelves a little bit, so I actually have like 2 or 4 shelves that I use for games there as well, and also I have like 2 cupboards that I use for games as well. But I don't really have a lot of space at the moment anymore. So what I do now is that I always try to sell off some games when I get new ones coming in. It's not always possible, so I'm really, really struggling with space at the moment. But I do kind of separate that between living room and office at the moment. There are also a few that I have in the basement, but those are mostly games that I'm selling at the moment. Next question. How often do you get rid of games and where do you sell them? Okay, good question. How often do I get rid of games? Actually, I think it's a lot of hassle to sell games. You have to take pictures, because I always want to take nice pictures. You have to put them online, like put the text there. Think of, okay, how much do I want to sell them for? Do I have the packaging for that? So I usually collect 4, 5, 6, 7 games that I want to sell, and then I take pictures of all of them and put them all online. How often do I do that? Well, as often as I think that I need to sell something now. I just did that I think the last time I sold games was about 3 to 4 months ago, and now currently I'm selling games again. I've sold about 7 to 8 games already, and I'm still selling 7 to 8. And now I will wait. There's already 3 or 4 further games that I want to sell. I put them aside for now. I will wait until I have a few more, until I have 5 to 10 at least, and then I will sell them again. So I think every 3 to 6 months I sell a few games. Where do I sell them? Online mostly. I have a German forum where I sell them. I tried it first over there, and then also on eBay. On eBay also. How do you learn to play? Is it just the instructions, or do you watch videos as well? Or do you have other tips for learning a game when you're not learning from a group? So these are two different questions. The first one is how I learn to play. I usually learn to play by reading the rules. If a game is very complex, or if the rules are not written well, then I also watch videos. So there are some content creators that do very good learning videos, like how to play videos for games. And I don't even mean my own. I think my how to play videos are okay. They're decent, but there are people who do it much better. Which is why I don't like to do that too much, because I think there are people who do it better than me. I think the thing I can do the best is like playthroughs. I'm not saying that I'm the content creator who does it best, but I think like if I say like what am I good at, like the best at doing, like from all the things that I am doing, it's probably playthrough videos. But going back to the question, so I read instructions, I read rules because I like reading rule books. Actually, I really enjoy that. Like in the evening, having like having like a good cup of tea or maybe a nice whiskey or something, and then I'm just reading rule books. But if the rules are written in a bad way, or if they are just very, very complex, then I also like watch videos. Tips for learning a game when you're learning for a group, I would say reading rules is fine, but I would actually like say watch a video first, to know how to play the game roughly and know how to set it up, and then while you're playing the game you can like refer to the rules for like the more detailed stuff. That's what I would suggest everyone to do. Then, still Discord, we have Mursek. I've actually, that is Michael Ursek, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have reviewed like Cave In, a game that he did, several times on my channel, like 3 times actually. He's asking, inspiration for the logo, were traditional deck games your first tabletop love? Inspiration for the logo, actually, I was thinking about like 2 things. First of all, what should the logo be? Like what should be depicted there? Or like 3 questions. What should be depicted there? Secondly, how do I put my name in there? And thirdly, which colors do I want to? So first, let's start with the logo. My first logo was a die. A die, I found that on the internet. I like a free image that I could use without attribution, and then I just colored that a little bit differently, put like my initials in there. That worked fine, but I actually don't like dice as much as I like cards. I'm like a card fan, a card enthusiast. I like rolling dice. It's really cool to have like a lot of dice that you can roll, but still cards are the best thing. And that's why I knew I wanted to have cards. So that was clear. And then the other idea was, okay, like how should these cards be arranged? What should be on them, and how to integrate the name? And that's why I actually had help from a friend, from a colleague who helped me design this. And then we thought, like, okay, like having 2 cards here and putting like the spades here in the middle is like cool, because that's like usually these are like the coolest cards in a deck, right? Like the ace of spades. And that's why we put that there, but instead of the aces, like that was the idea the colleague had, and instead of putting like the A here, we just put S and T for Sir Thecos here. And that was a really cool idea, because the S is not as important as the T, for example, because Thecos is like what like signifies his channel more than Sir, right? Because Sir is like a regular word, so to speak. So that's what we did. And then what was the next thing that was important was the colors. And I said I wanted to have black, because black is like something that I like. It looks very classy. And then I wanted to have a color that contrasts well with black. And then I was like toying around a little bit. These colors I actually came up by myself. These were actually the colors the color scheme, that was something that I came up with. And I think at first I was trying like black and blue, because black is like the color, if you can say it, that I like the most. That's like the player color I always choose when I play games. And blue is like my most favorite color when I was like a child in the youth. But black and blue, that didn't look good. Then black and pink looked really good, but I didn't want to have pink in there. So I said, you know what, let's take red. And first I thought like red would be a little bit too strong, but this is like a softer red. Not like a really strong, like striking red. This is a little bit softer. So this is why, yeah, we came up with this. And then also like the main logo is this one here, right? That's like the logo that I put everywhere. But if I have like the room for more, then I also put like my name down here. And that's how we came up with the logo. So no inspiration really, just like a lot of thoughts of how I wanted it to look like. Were traditional deck games your first tabletop love? Actually, yeah, kind of. Kind of. I started playing games when I was very young, and I mostly played with cards at the very beginning. So yeah, definitely. But like the real love of games, like really like developed over time, like when I saw what games could do actually, right? So I did play like classic games back then when I was young. I played Monopoly, I played Ludo, I played Malefice, and many other games that like Clue and Risk and whatever, also Axis and Allies. But like the real love like came into play when I started playing things like Catan, right? That was my I think my first real large, like my real big tabletop love was Catan. I played Catan, I don't know how many times, 40, 50, 100 times, probably even more when I was younger. I played it so often because I absolutely loved that game. I don't play it as much anymore because I played it way too much back then, and yeah, I just don't play it anymore because it was way too much back then, as I said, right? But I think that was my real big first tabletop love, Catan. But yes, I just started playing with like just decks of cards because with cards you can do everything, and I also like designed games back then when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. So yeah, kind of yes and kind of no. Okay, Thagonor is back. This time with serious questions. It's quite small again because there were a lot of questions. So let me just talk about those a little bit. Serious questions from me now. What is your preferred method of teaching a game? Pretty much like how you see it when I teach games to you on the channel. That I try to do it like in as small steps as necessary, depending on who I teach it to. When I have friends that know well how to play games, that are pretty just experienced, then I can do it like a little bit faster and quicker. But I always try to like first talk about what is the theme, what are we doing, and then I go into a little bit more detail, like what do you see on the table here, right? You see the board, you see these cards. Okay, cool. Then what is our goal? What are we trying to do? Then I talk about that, and then I talk about, okay, let's now talk about a turn, how a turn looks like. That's kind of like how I do it, like from the large theme and everything, like always go into like these smaller and smaller details until we look at how a turn looks like. Sometimes there are games that you can like just talk about the main premise and what is the goal and how do you reach that and say, okay, now you know enough to play. And then I teach the rest while playing. Depends on the game. There are games where you can't do that, like Heat, for example. Heat, you need to explain from start to finish. But there are games that you can like explain a little bit more as time goes on, because maybe there are some symbols that you don't need to like know at the very beginning of the game. So, for example, like Keep the Heroes Out is a game where you can like talk about the main premise. Then you talk about what you see there. Then you talk about the goal. And then you say like a turn roughly looks like that. You have cards, you play them, you do what's said on there, then the heroes come out and do stuff. And then you can actually start playing. Because there is like an explanation, like a legend of all the symbols at the back of the rulebook. You just place that there, it's pretty self-explanatory, and you can kind of talk about these symbols as you play, right? But always like my preferred method from going from large to small, and then seeing like where is the jump off point, where can we start playing as soon as possible. That's kind of how I do it, and that works quite well. What are your most and least favorite themes? Not saying any are specifically good or bad, positive or negative, simply the ones that you like the most or that just really aren't for you. My least favorite theme is war. It's really easy. I don't like any war games. I have 2 or 3 games at home that have the theme of war in it. That's Risk, because it's a classic. And that is Maquis. That has a war theme, but it's not like a glorifying whole war theme. It's like you're trying to actually fight against, like you are the resistance and you fight against the oppressors. Apart from that, I would have to think. I don't think I own any other war games. I would have to check, to be honest, because I can't think of any other. And when I see a new game on Kickstarter, if I see a new game or people suggest games to me and I see like it's a war theme, I'm already completely turned off. I'm serious. I don't like that at all. There are a few war games that are kind of interesting that I would like to play at some point. I think Black Orchestra, I think that is a war game with a war theme. I'm interested in playing that at some point, and also this War of Mine, because these are just different, right? But apart from that, I don't like that theme at all. I think it's not a theme that I want to play with. I don't know. It's just I don't find it fitting for board games, except if you do it like Marquis or like this War of Mine, where you like put another spin or another viewpoint on it. Also, there are some themes that I don't really need. I like science fiction more than fantasy, right? That's why like fantasy themes, I always think like, I don't need that. If like they do something specific with the fantasy theme, then it's cool. But like this generic fantasy, I find it really dull. There are games that have like generic fantasy themes that I enjoy, like Aeon's End, for example. It's a pretty generic fantasy theme, but the game is amazing, and in that context, like with the gameplay and everything, the theme fits well. Also, I'm not a huge fan of science fiction, but as I said, I like it more than fantasy. So if I could choose between these two, it would be science fiction. There are games that do that well, just like Black Angel, for example, does a science fiction theme well. Also, think like Wild Space does it quite well because they have like animals in there at least. So, but these are all like themes I don't really need in my life, you know. But they are fine, I guess. My most favorite theme, well, nature, hands down. Animals even better, but also plants and whatever, like everything regarding nature. Love that theme. Just absolutely love that. And also everything that is like kind of obscure and strange, right? Like a Cosmoctopus, for example. This is such a strange theme. I don't even know how to phrase, like where to put that theme, right? How to like describe the theme. But I love it because it's just so obscure. If you could host a game night with 4 other people, dead or alive, who and why? Wow. What a question. That is amazing. You know what? To be honest, I think I would not even like do that dead or alive thing, right? Like it would be very intelligent for me to say like, oh, I would like to see what Shakespeare would play with me. Yeah, sure. If I could get like Shakespeare, Johnny Cash, Kurt Cobain, and I don't know, somebody else at a table with me to play board games, yeah, of course, I would definitely do that, right? But I think I wouldn't choose that now. I think if you would ask me now with 4 other people, I think I would even maybe extend that to like 10 people or something, and say that I would really like to have like a really cool game night in person if possible that I would host with like some of my subscribers that really want like that I have the contact with the most, for example, right? I think that would be really cool. I would really like to see how would it be to play with these subscribers who actually watch my content and have like a similar taste in games? How would it be to play with you guys? So I think that's actually what I would choose. But yes, for an intelligent answer, let's say like, I don't know, Shakespeare, Johnny Cash, and Kurt Cobain, and the 4th person I would have to like find someone else to play games with. But yeah, I think with my subscribers, that would be cool at some point. Maybe sometime in the future it would be possible. If you could choose one game that you could add a mechanism or system to, what game and what mechanism system, and what do you think it would add or fix? That's not to say the game as it currently stands is bad or broken. It could be perfectly good or even great game that you think could be made even better with an addition. Think of it like designing an expansion. Okay. Actually, I don't think I have too many like specific things I would add to games. The only specific things I think I can think of is for the game Heat. I would like to add like a few more mechanisms that would make the game a little bit more challenging and interesting. For example, like if you have like a speed of 8 and then there are 2 cars actually blocking it and you run into them like and you stop at like 5 steps but you still have 3 left and you would like run into them and that something would happen, right? That's like something that I would like to add to Heat specifically because I really enjoy that game. But apart from that, there aren't any specific games where I say like I want to add something specific to it, but there are a lot of games that I will add like general things to it. For example, there are games that could really that could be really elevated, but by also having like an optional campaign or something, right? Optional campaign means you should be able to play the games without playing the campaign, but you could play them with the campaign, right? Like a game that kind of comes to mind that I would like there is Aeon's End. I think Aeon's End is such an amazing game. I absolutely love this game. And there is the expedition mode, yes, sure, but it's not a campaign really, right? Of course, you have like a few cards. If you like space-specific campaign, you have a little bit of story there, but that's not really like what I would call a campaign, right? I would really like to have like a campaign in there, which means that you would like either play with specific adversaries or like choose the bosses yourself and the players, but you would have like specific things that would change the game, right? We would like say you only have like 4 hand cards, for example, like a hand card limit of 4, or I don't know, whatever. That would kind of change the conditions of the game, and you also would have like a storybook or something. That would be really cool. I would enjoy that a lot, like having like, specific missions, like make up a campaign, maybe even random missions. I don't know, whatever. I don't know how that would look like. I haven't really thought about that, but that's something I would like. And another thing that I always like games to have is like expansions that would add more players, for example, right? Or like add like another mode to play the game, like a cooperative mode or something. These are like things that I would really enjoy. But there are no specific games that I would add like mechanisms to, except maybe with Heat, like the one thematic edition. Okay, so then let's continue with the next question. This is also still Discord server. It's still a little bit small because there is a lot of questions there. By Koala Pete. I heard this idea on a podcast. Worst thing about your best games, for example. For games you love, what are the negatives about those games? +1 for your gaming history or story. Favorite game designers. Oh man, oh wait, there's a lot of questions here. Okay, let's start with the beginning. Worst thing about your best games or for games you love, what are the negatives about those games? Actually, there aren't too many things that I would add to my favorite games, because they are my favorite games because I like them the way they are, right? But there are a few things, like Cascadia, for example, I would like to have like a higher player count. But now that is being fixed with the new expansion that's coming out, so that's not really relevant anymore. Another game would be Wormholes. It's a game that is really good. Seriously, it's a really like a hidden gem almost, because people know it, but people hardly talk about it. But it's not as good as a lower player count. At a lower player count, they should have added a rule that kind of makes the game a little bit faster, because it takes time until you have like placed your wormholes, and until then you can't really play the game it's intended to. Right? That's another thing. Robo Rally, not one of my most favorite games, but it's a very good game that I still have in my collection somehow, although I don't play it as much anymore, but the component quality is terrible. It's terrible. It's just like the cards are just made from paper pretty much, right? They have like miniatures in there, and I think like, okay, scrap the miniatures, put standees in there, but like up the quality of the components. Really, really bad component quality, seriously. But these are like the 3 only games that come to mind where I would like change something like for good. Maybe another thing is like this is not like a bad thing or really a negative, but like I really enjoy Terraforming Mars. I love this. I love the engine building, how everything like really ramps up as you like play more and more cards. What I don't like about the game too much is like all the placement and the goals you need to reach and things like that. Yes, it adds player interaction, but I would enjoy the game just having the card play, I think that would be more than enough for me to really have fun. So that's maybe one thing that I would also add there, but I think that Ares Expedition is kind of doing that. So I might have to look into Ares Expedition at some point. Then +1 for your gaming history or story. Well, I don't know if there's too much to say. I already kind of mentioned a few things a little while ago, but I started playing games when I was very young. I started doing a lot of puzzles, like have like puzzle books and like even for adults, and just like finishing them really quickly. Playing a lot of card games, growing up with games like, as I said, like Ludo and Risk and Clue and Malefice and Liar's Dice, I think it's called, and even more games, and Therapy even, and whatever. Like a lot of games that I played as a child. And then I started, like when I was like 9 to 10 approximately, I got into heavier games, right? Then I started playing games like Catan, but also like Axis and Allies. I think when I was like 9, 10 or 11, I played Axis and Allies, for example, right? Yes, it's a war game. I don't like that theme, but back then I didn't think much of it, and it was really fun to play that. And then I had like a longer break. I still played games, but I didn't have a lot of friends or acquaintances that liked playing games. So I was like the only one, and back then solo gaming wasn't as big. But then like 2017, 18, I really started getting back into that. I thought like, you know what? Screw it. I am getting games now, even though people don't like to play with me too much, because some of them you can play solo. Let's see how that is. And that's it when I really, really got back into gaming, like about, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago. And yeah, the rest is history. Now I have like hundreds of games, and I have my own YouTube channel. So yeah, Favorite game designers. Three of them at the moment. My most favorite game designers of all is Ryan Lockett. Most of you know that, and I don't know if that will change. Rank 2 at the moment is Sami Laxo from Snowday Design. Has only released 3 games so far. That is still a lot because these games are very expansive and massive. Date of Merchants, Dawn of Peacemakers, and now Lands of Gaza, which is rank 2 in my list of my most favorite games at the moment. So really great games. Sami is doing an amazing job there, and he will actually release a new version of Dawn of Peacemakers soon that is streamlined and done even better. And also I think there is more in the works. So I'm really looking forward to it. I will probably buy every game that he releases. And I don't know if it's rank 3, but another game designer I'm really have been getting into the past month is Sébastien Dujardin by Pearl Games. With his magnum opus, his best game in my opinion, Black Angel, but also Troyes is a very good game, and Lofoten, and all the other games that he has done. I have Deus here as well, but I haven't played that one yet. If you could make a game with another designer, who would that be, and who would publish the game? I think if I could choose someone to make a game with another designer, this is difficult. There are a lot of designers I think that are very good and that I would like to design with. I think I would actually choose Sami Laxo, just because we also have contact personally a little bit, privately. I just enjoy his games. I enjoy the way that he sees the design process, because he illustrates everything himself, he designs everything himself, he does everything himself, even the publishing and everything. So that is pretty impressive, and I like that. Also very focused on animals and nature, which I enjoy a lot as well. Another option would also be maybe Jamie Stegmaier, but just because I think he's very knowledgeable regarding the game design process and the game design in itself. I think I could learn really a lot there. Who would publish the game? I don't know if I would I don't know who would publish the game. I don't think I have a specific publisher that I would really want to publish my games. Probably Stonemaier Games, or maybe Snowday Design, Sami Laxo, right? Or Red Raven from Ryan Lockett, right? I don't know. I think who would publish the game? I think if I could really choose, I would publish the game. It would be just my studio. I would have my own studio that would publish the games. I think that would be the coolest. Have you played many games that don't have either a US, UK, or German designer, or games that originate different cultures? And if so, what did you enjoy and not about these games versus the more common Western games? Yes, I haven't played a lot of games that don't originate from these 3 countries, but a few. I have played a few games that come from Asia, actually. From Taiwan, I think, and from Japan as well. Mostly these 2, I think, and maybe even Korea. There are a few games that I like Hanami Koji. I mean, of course, it also has a Western release, but still. Also World Exchanges, which I will hopefully play on the channel sometime soon, which is a pretty good game. Also Sheffy, a small card game that was really tough to get, a Japanese one, but I also played that on the channel, or things like Vegetable Stock and stuff, right? And also Ramen, which I played on the channel. So there are a lot of southern eastern Asian games that I really enjoy a lot. Also, there are a few Canadian or French games that I have, I think. There's one French game that is the Grand Museum of Art. It's not an amazing game, but I just like the game somehow. It's maybe a guilty pleasure somehow. And that is a French one. Yes, it's Western, but nobody knows that pretty much, I think. So yeah. Are there any types of games, themes, mechanisms that put you off playing a game, or vice versa? Things that instantly make you want to play a game? I can kind of cut that short because I kind of talked about that already, but things that really turn me off are war themes. Also, I'm not a huge fan of fantasy and science fiction in my games, right? I really resonate with nature, animal-themed games, and also with obscure themes. Mechanisms, well, I already said the mechanisms that I like a lot. Mechanisms I don't like are things like auction and bidding. I don't like that too much. I'm not a huge fan of hidden traitor themes, right? I don't like that too much as well. But there are some games that do that I enjoy, such as Modern Art, for example, or even Gempire, which will be released sometime soon, which will go to Kickstarter quite soon. That has auction in it as well. That works quite well. So there are exceptions to that rule. And also types of games. Well, that's kind of the mechanisms, right? The themes, right? Okay, yeah. I think that should hopefully answer that quite well. Okay, next one. Thecos, which was a reply to what Carter P just said. Then I guess the flip side is find something to praise in a game you absolutely did not like, which is a very interesting question as well. Honestly, there are not too many games I absolutely did not like. There was one that I backed like at the beginning of my Kickstarter career, so to speak, like 2018-19. It was called 8-Bit Attack. I did not like that at all. I played it, I think, once and immediately said, okay, I'm going to sell that. Usually you should play a game more often, right, before you sell it, but I don't like that at all. But was there anything to praise about that? I'm really not certain. I didn't really like that game, so no, not really. Another game I didn't really like was Snowware. I actually did a playthrough of that on my channel at some point. But there is something to praise there, because that game actually did something really new. Like, it had like a really new mechanism, and a new way to win, to score points, because there was no way to win really. That was pretty interesting. Although I did not like the game, but that was done pretty well. Apart from that, if I don't like a game at all, if I really don't like a game, there is not a whole lot of praise on my side, because I just don't like it, right? But there aren't too many games that I don't like at all. I don't like Monopoly, but there's nothing I can praise about that. I don't like Clue too much. There is one thing to praise about that, maybe, because what Clue does really well is like this deduction thing, right? Because you try to like figure out who did what. I think that is done quite well. I also like the theming is pretty cool. And the names of the main characters and things like that, but like this roll and move mechanism like really destroys the game, right? But the other things are done quite well. But there are like games nowadays that do things like that much, much better. But I think that is pretty much all, because there aren't too many games that I absolutely don't like. Bladed Edge. So now we are going into all the YouTube comments. I think we are now at the like 5 or 6, 7 last comments here. Bladed Edge, also one of my very first subscribers. Suggestion, if you haven't already, you could also solicit questions on Discord or Patreon, which I did. Here's mine. What was your inspiration for starting the channel? Well, I already talked about that kind of. There wasn't really an inspiration. Like, I was pretty sure that I would be able to do a good channel. That first of all, I would really have fun doing it, but also that I would be able to do it well, because there is a certain creativity needed, a certain discipline needed, all things that I do have, in my opinion, and also like the enthusiasm to show things to other people that I enjoy, right? And that is like board games. So I didn't really have an inspiration, but that was like the reason why I started the channel. Follow up, what would you say is the hardest part of doing so that people might not see or be aware of? The hardest part is the entire thing, to deliver a video without people knowing how much work went into that. I sometimes say that on the channel and say like, oh, this video took a long time, because I think people should know that. I think I am of the opinion that although you are making videos to entertain people, people who watch your videos should know how much work goes into that. And especially regarding that is time. I said that before. If I had more time, I would even do more with the YouTube channel. I think the YouTube channel is good as it is. I think I'm doing a lot, given the circumstances of like how little time I have. And I'm very proud about that, to be honest, right? Yeah, like the time commitment you need, and also the discipline for such a channel, that's something that people don't see. And that is, I think, the hardest part of still putting out like good videos, without people realizing that like a lot of time went into that. What I mean is, it would be easier, I think, if I spent less time on my videos. Less time means maybe not scripting my reviews. For example, let me give you a good example to explain that. That is my reviews. With my reviews, I always have like the how to play section quite in detail, with like almost all of the rules usually. that and all the filming I do and the scripting. I could do it much easier. I don't want to mention any other content creator channels now because I don't want to give you the impression that I'm criticizing them, but there are other content creators who are much larger than I am that do much simpler reviews. There still goes a lot of time into that, but they don't script too much. They pretty much just put the camera there, put the game on the table, and then they say, okay, you do this, you do that, and you do that, and that's it. I script the entire thing, which takes a long time. Then I film the entire thing, do a lot of videos. Then I have to match audio and video and edit all of that. It takes so much time for me to do such a review that I think people don't know how much time goes into that. I could make it much easier, but I don't want to. And I think that's a hard part of the channel, to have the way I do my videos, although I know it takes much more time to do so. So yeah, I think that's probably the hardest part. Then here we have ELEDV 4521, also on YouTube. How long does it take you to make a video between filming and editing? Yeah, I can touch on that, but I can go into more detail here. It depends on what kind of video it is. Unboxing videos, between I wouldn't say between filming and editing. I would say between planning and editing, right? Because there is a lot of work I have to do before filming actually. But before for an unboxing, for example, I don't have to do any preparations except where do I put the camera? How big of a frame do I need? That's the only the only preparation I need, and maybe removing the shrink wrap before doing though. I didn't do that in the beginning, but now I do that because I think it's a little bit better. So that's and then I have to film it and then edit it a little bit. Maybe for an unboxing I need about 1 to 1.5 hours to really finish that video. So that's the least time I need. Then the next increment would be playthroughs. A short playthrough of a really simple game where I don't need to do a review, where I don't need to script anything. A game that I just know, that I don't have to practice a whole lot, that I can just film and play in 10 minutes and then edit down. Maybe also 1 to 1.5 hours. For longer playthroughs, I need between, let's say, 2 to 8 hours maybe for a video, between planning and editing and publishing it. And the videos that take the longest time are reviews. The reviews that I script, that I have to play the games, I have to practice them, I have to script them, including the how to play section, which is the worst thing to script. Seriously, it takes so much time. Then filming all of that, then editing all of that down, and yeah, for a review, it can take me 10 hours plus for a single review, right? So that's pretty tough. Who came up with the idea for your logo? I already mentioned that. A colleague, a prior colleague, and we both came up with that. He had the idea of arranging the colors in such a way and putting the letters in there. I came up with the colors and everything, and that's how it was done. Do you see yourself posting for a long time, or you think you'll get tired, no time, etc., like other game channels? Unfortunately, I see myself posting for a long time. If nothing really bad happens, I see myself posting for a long time. I will not get tired of that. But yes, the no time thing, that is an issue. That definitely is an issue. It is possible that I will reduce my content at some point, that I will not have 3 videos a week, but only 2 videos a week maybe. I do have a very large catalog of videos at the moment, so I'm doing fine. The problem is that I have so much content I still want to film that 2 videos a week would not be enough. And this is why I'm still doing 3 videos a week. But to be honest, I should already reduce my videos down now from 3 to 2 because I hardly have any time to do so. I'm still able to do it, but it is sometimes a little bit straining. But no, I'm not planning to abandon this channel at all. It depends where the channel goes. At the moment, I'm quite happy with the size, but I still want my channel to grow, right? And if I see, let's say it would not grow anymore for 5 years, I don't know. Then I would probably really tone it down a little bit more, go to 2 or 1 video down a week. But I don't plan at all to abandon my channel. What has been your biggest accomplishment so far regarding your channel? I think there has been several accomplishments. The first big accomplishment was reaching 100 subscribers. I think there are like 99% of channels that are created don't even reach that. So that's a big accomplishment. The second big accomplishment was to actually get monetized, become a YouTube partner. I don't really earn a lot with these videos, but at least I am a YouTube partner. I am now above 1,000 subscribers. And I also have had more than 1,000 hours, hours of watch time during the first year, during 1 year. So I reached that as well. And the next, I think one of my biggest accomplishments was to actually reach 5,000 subscribers. That was one of the goals that I set myself. Within the first 4 to 5 years, I want to reach 5,000 subscribers. Well, I managed that in 2 years. And that, I think, was my biggest accomplishment. But this is not where I want to stop. I definitely want to go farther than that. How do you decide which games to bring to your channel? Pretty much everything that I enjoy. Seriously. I mean, of course, there are things that are like extrinsic games, or games with an extrinsic motivation, so to speak. Like when people ask me, hey, I got a game here, do you want to do a playthrough? Then I check them out and if I think like, yep, they are worthy to be featured on my channel, or I want to feature them on my channel, then I do. But mostly games that I enjoy. Games that I want to bring to you. Games that I want to show to you. That's what I bring to my channel. You can see that there are some videos that don't receive a lot of views. But these are like games that I just want to bring to the channel. And I know in advance, these are not going to make a lot of views. Right? These are not going to really benefit my channel. But I don't care, because I actually want to bring them to you. So the most important factor, which games I bring to my channel, is which games I want to show to you. But also, of course, like things that you want to see. That's like the second motivation. If there's like a game that you really want to see, where I'm like thinking, I don't really know, but okay, if you say it's that good, I might enjoy it, okay, then I will check it out. Like Final Girl was one of those games. I was not sure I would like it, to be honest, and that's why I did not get it. I wasn't really sure if I would like it. And you really wanted to see it, so I actually got it, at least the first package, like the first feature film box. I played it, I brought it to the channel, I thought like, okay, cool. Now it's on my channel, I know that you really enjoyed the playthrough, that is great, but the game wasn't for me. But that's fine as well. Will we ever see your face? Well, you have seen my face several times. There is a live stream, I think maybe even two, with Samilaxo, where you see my face on a thumbnail, and during the video, the entire time. So there I'm playing Lands of Gelsa. Just put in Sir Thecos, Lands of Gelsa live. I think that should be enough. Put that into YouTube and you will see my live stream with Samilaxo. There are several ones. There's at least one of them where I show my face. So you see my face there. Also, there are like 1 or 2 videos on my channel where you can see my face. There's one, I think, for the Spiel last year. You should see my face there for like the video posted after the Spiel, I think. Also, there are a few photos of me on my YouTube channel in the community tab, I think. And also there is one like the activity with the foxes. How was it called? Something with foxes. Just put that into my channel. So Thecos Foxes, and there I have a selfie at the end of the video for one of the activities I'm doing. But actually this channel was never meant to be faceless. Right? I'm just doing that because I have no other choice, because I'm still looking for like a backdrop for like having videos with a face. My face is not very important, to be honest. It's not important here, right? But I will probably add my face to videos in the future at some point when I have like the right backdrop and in videos where it fits. For playthroughs, it's not that important, right? But I have like my top 10 games, for example. It would be kind of cool to like hold a game into the camera, right? So I'm not sure when I will do that, but at some point I will show my face. And as I said, I have already shown it at some point, right? So let me just make them a little bit more like this. It looks a little bit cooler, right? Let's do it like this. All right. So we have 3 more. All right. Let's do the last ones. That is from Damon Faust. How many among your favorite games in your collection are well received by your playgroups? Or playgroup, which games you love have fell flat with them. Some, like the games that I like the most, that are well received, are things like Wingspan is mostly received well, Cascadia is received very well, Heat is received incredibly well, Like these 3 games for sure. Also, there are some small games that are received well, like small card games, like Point Salad is received really well. Also, Vegetable Stock is received well. And even more games, right? It's just a little excerpt, and also a game that everybody loves, but I pull it out. That is Megaland by Ryan Lockett, always a big hit as well. And also there's some party games that are received really well, like Just One, like Top 10 for example. Also like Dixit or Stella are received really well, and even more like Belrati and Terrestriations, Mutabo, like these party games, and Hitster as well. But there are also like games that I love that have fell flat with some people or some playgroups. For example, Hitster, not everybody loves that game. There are some people who say like it's okay, which I can hardly understand. Also, Aeon's End is not a game for everyone. There are some people who don't like it as much, which was surprising to me. Also, Everdell is a game that I really like that not everybody loves, which is also kind of tough to understand, of course. The Quacks of Credinburgh, this is like games that people like but don't want to play like all the time. And also Wild Space wasn't a hit with everyone so far. And also Bargain Quest, which I really enjoy. Not everybody loves that game. So yeah, so there are some games that have fell flat with people, but these are games that I still keep in my collection because I like them a lot, right? But they don't see as much table presence then if I can't play them solo. Then next question: what are your big dreams for the channel? Oh, that would be perfect for like the end of the. You know what? Let's take that one first and take the other one as like the last question because that fits really well. Flipside is asking, what do you do for a living besides YouTube? Actually, not anything that has to do with YouTube. I am actually a project manager, project lead. I work in a software company. We do our own software. Not me, of course, but like the developers. And I have like a few customers there that purchase the software and work with it. And I am the project leader, the project manager. I try to make all the plans, to do all these Scrum framework, all these sprints and everything, and try to like combine what we can do development wise with the wishes of the customers. And we have the last question, which is like the perfect question to end this video. What are your big dreams for the channel? Well, first of all, my biggest dream for the channel is that I can continue doing it. So far, I don't see a reason why not. And that people will enjoy my channel even for years and years and years to come. Even maybe when board games aren't a big hit anymore, maybe it will kind of like go down again, the craze, maybe. But I still hope that people will still watch and enjoy my channel. That's like the biggest thing. But also I want to grow more. I want to be in a position at some point where I have like 10,000 plus for subscribers, maybe even 15 or 20,000 some point, maybe even more, where I have like a bigger impact on like the board gaming space, the solo board gaming space mostly, but maybe even like all together, right? I will never be able to reach heights like the biggest channels, right? Like the biggest board gaming channels, but I want to go into that direction because I think that I have a lot of experiences that I can share with people. I think that I have a lot of fun to actually discuss games with people. And I think that is even more fun when I reach more people because like the community can just grow and grow, and because I already see that like people within my community are like also connecting with each other, and I think that is amazing that something like a small YouTube channel is able to do that, and a bigger channel would also be able to do that because I definitely want to stay the same way even when I have a larger channel. I still want to do the same kind of videos. That's very important to me. And also that I have a big impact, and so far that more designers and more publishers actually know my channel, so that more people want to work together with me. That would be really great because so far I'm doing a lot of things on my own. Now I'm starting to have a few collaborations. That is cool, but I would like to have like more collaborations, like make more connections, deeper connections. That would be really cool. And also maybe that the channel would be like kind of self-sustainable at some point, or leave a bit more self-sustainable, that would be able to invest more time to the channel because I can actually earn a little bit with that. But I think at the moment, my dreams at the moment are the channel will still be watched for years to come. People will still enjoy my content and it will grow. It would just keep growing. That would be amazing. And I think that's pretty good. I think that'll be totally enough for me for a while. that's the end of the video. It took quite a long time. I will still have to edit this down, but I think it will still be maybe a little bit more than an hour. I hope I didn't bore you too much with all my rambling, but it was really cool to see all your questions here. And yeah, I would love it to do something like that again, because I think that way you can also get to know me a little bit more than just seeing my videos, right? That'll be great, because I think we have a pretty close community, so that is really cool. Alright, I really hope you enjoyed this video. It's already been quite long, so I will end it here, but I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did actually filming this. So as usual, thank you all for your support, especially my patrons who are very generous by supporting me on Patreon. The biggest shout out goes to Thecos, who is my biggest supporter at the highest tier. So thank you so much for that. You know the drill. You can also head over to Patreon to support me if you want to, but I'm also happy for any kind of support, including likes, comments, and especially subscriptions. That, as I said, makes my channel grow, me very happy, and me also able to bring you more quality content in the future. You can also join my Discord server to hang out with me and my really amazing community. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the very next video. Take care everyone, stay safe, and cheers.